All right. Welcome. Thank you all for coming to the Why Ukraine live stream. The last alliance is here, I see. K-Bell. Welcome. Thank you all for coming to the. Good to see everybody here. Really, really awesome. So, today is an interesting day. There's crazy things happening out there, guys. Out here in Ukraine. We all know about the Volchansk, I think, and the enemy is still advancing. Now, it has been said. By the way, thanks for waking up, Catherine. Blonde Bombsheller, Lauren, Ronnie, Viper, good to see you. And yes, I was working on my homework today. Mary, thank you for coming. Lauren, you guys are great. Thanks so much. I did not have time to I didn't have time to prepare this live stream today, not in a real way, unfortunately. I have been in meetings or coordinating stuff since about noon today. And so this morning, Cheryl, thanks for coming. Belle, awesome. Fantastic. So I've been, I started out working on the business documents this morning for what we're working on, hopefully. My homework, as it were. And then, of course, I had an English lesson. And then the rest of the day was in meetings of some kind. I just got out of a meeting with Secular Sakai. I know he had a live stream. Or I think his live stream should be wrapping up just now, but he wanted to ask me some questions. And I may or may not have given him good information. I'm not sure. I'd actually need to do some research on the questions that he asked me. It's live. There's supposed to be hiccups. Thanks, Lauren. Nonetheless, this is the big concern right now. And it's something that is really, really on my mind. And, nearly 10,000 Ukrainians displaced by Russian assault on Kharkiv Oblast. And the thing about it is, we can talk about how the defenses weren't prepared, or maybe they were, but they're set, further back from the border because Ukraine is not allowed to, stupidly, not allowed to attack, as we know here. Here's the official line. Now, the thing is Anthony Blinken came to Kyiv, and while he was here this week, he was kind of saying, "Oh yeah, well, Ukraine should do what they want to do," was basically what he said. Okay, but actually, the U.S. insists that Ukraine must not use American-supplied weapons to strike inside Russia. Okay, and Anthony Blinken can say whatever he wants when he's playing Rockin' to the Free World here in Kyiv, but Pentagon spokesperson Sabrina Singh reiterated that the United States has not changed its stance. Okay. So, yeah. So they kind of, this is very common, though, with politicians coming here to Kyiv and kind of not really telling the truth. I'm not saying that Anthony Blinken had any evil intent. I think that Ukraine to be able to decide for itself what to do. Yeah, Blinken did a Biden gaffe. Fair enough, Ronnie. Yeah. Yeah, Cheryl, it's true. So sad for all the people and animals ejected from their hobbit paradise. Yes. Yeah, Lauren, I agree. So use non-U.S. weapons outside Ukraine, but use U.S. weapons in Ukraine. But I really think that there are people in the Pentagon and in the U.S. administration who are like, "Ah, no," freaking out about this, and then there are other people like perhaps Mr. Blinken who are pushing in the other direction. And I don't know. We need to do something about that. We need to put pressure on the Biden administration and these people, because they're stuck in an old mindset, And the thing about it is these 10,000 Ukrainians. So this town here, let's say small city of Vovchansk that is under attack right now. Okay, this is about the size of the city that I live in. It's about the same size, So when I look at this, I'm like, this could be my village. This could be my town. Yeah, so that's what we hear, Mary. No problem from Storm Shadow in the UK, and I think that one by one these countries are going to, tiptoe over the line. Yeah, I mean, Cheryl, I agree. Strategic ambiguity, but the problem is, so Cheryl says it's strategic ambiguity we don't encourage or enable, but whatever you need to do, wink, wink. Yeah, Viper says the North is holding for now. Watch this space, although we need air support or some air assets. Yeah, and it is holding, but here's the problem. Even if the Russians don't advance anymore, okay, this has brought their other weapons, artillery and what have you, within striking distance of a bunch of these villages in these areas. Zibine and Volohivka and Karyachny and find one that I can pronounce. Losivka, whatever. Okay, it's these smaller villages here. Once, right, they're attacking. Let's say it's stopped now, but now all of these villages start to come under attack, and all of these villages over here start to come under attack. And I want to point out that Zelensky said an important thing in this article right here. The Russian offensive in Kharkiv can only be the first wave. And it's stupid what they're doing, right? They should have, if they were going to seriously, God, poor Zelensky. I mean, I know every president looks older by the time they're. Oh, UTV and Ham, thanks for coming. I hope you come back and watch later. But not in striking range of Kharkiv. You're correct, Viper. They're not going to get within striking range of Kharkiv. But these displacements of refugees are going to continue. Lipsy is being attacked right now. Lipsy is the one that's really under attack, or maybe like the next target. Even though the Russians may have only advanced this far, but this is kind of their goal. And it's causing a major, a second, third, fifth refugee crisis. And what Zelensky says here is, Russia's offensive may consist of several waves. First wave was in the Kharkiv region. And I mean, it's summertime, so this is when they can attack more easily. From what I understand, and I don't have the article up in front of me right now, but I do understand that that the units have basically, they're full up on all of the artillery. Yeah, artillery is full now. Nobody is complaining about a lack of artillery now. But air defense is still a problem, still needing to be refilled. And I mean, it's going to be interesting if one of the stupidest things, and I know those of you who have fought on the front line, you've probably experienced this. The Russians send in like these sort of small teams and that's what they've been doing. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Ronnie. Zelensky only wants 2 Patriots for Kharkiv. And I mean that reasonably that should cover most of the Kharkiv Oblast, you know. Um it's very interesting. Didn't the European Parliament declare that the European Commission, which is the ruling council, was not going to get any funding until Ukraine received 7 Patriot systems? you know, so what's up with that? Where we don't want 2, we want 7, right? Because we need to cover more areas than just Kharkiv, obviously. So it makes me wonder, if and I know that Budnov had a little speech, I guess, interview this week as well that several people, including Greg Terry, did an excellent uh, video about. But this idea of sending small waves of 30 or 40,000, it's like, why not wait until you've built up? I mean, I don't want to give the orcs any ideas, but why not wait until you've built up 100,000 or 300,000 and then assault Vovchansk? Or it's like, it just kind of makes me feel like, I mean, they're just mindless. They're just mindlessly attacking and grind. I know that's I'm beating a dead horse. I'm sorry. Yes, exactly, Cheryl. So Blinken actually extended that whatever you need to do from Ukrainian weapons to U.S. weapons. Exactly, and that is why the Pentagon had to do this little backpedaling here to say, actually, yeah. So, but yeah, so air defense is the big issue, and exactly like what you said, Viper. I would like to see. I mean, I think we're all hoping that the F-16s are the turn of the tide. You know, really. Yeah, Lauren says I think he might have said that, but I think he might have been talking candidly or without backing from the U.S. government. Yeah, exactly. But to be honest with you, there's a long history of politicians. Like I said, I mean, who's the guy? JD Vance. JD Vance, Ukraine. He came to Kyiv. I mean, the gall of JD Vance coming to Kyiv, and actually speaking. Okay. But when he was here, when he actually came and spoke, this was several months ago. Yeah. Comes to Kyiv. Yeah. So when JD Vance was here, he talked to people, and he did not say the kind of things that he says when he's in America. He was like, he came to some forum or something, and people in Ukraine were asking him questions, and I think maybe they didn't completely know who he was, and he was able to get away with. I wish I could find that article, or the video, because they were throwing him kind of softball questions because they just thought he was another American senator coming here to show his support for Ukraine, and he kind of made it sound like he could have been a supporter of Ukraine, because while he's it's kind of like you can say a lot of things on on the internet or whatever, but when you're face to face with somebody, you're not gonna say that kind of stuff. It's exactly the same concept. Here, I just want to see if I can find the video. Oh, it looks like Tridents Against Tyrants is still streaming. So if you guys want to, I understand if you guys want to jump over there and say hello. So let's see, J.D. Vance in Kyiv. Let's see if I can find it. No, he's on the internet too much to be able to find just one little thing about him. But he did come to Ukraine, come to Kyiv, give a speech or answer questions. Hey, Canti, you wish you were more of a morning person? Yeah, I understand it. I am becoming more of a morning person because I'm getting old. Oh yes, Cheryl. The real slime creature is Lindsey Graham. Yeah, Lindsey Graham came to Ukraine, and had the gall to pretend like he's supporting Ukraine. Barely. Barely. You can't, again, I hate to say this, but you can't support Trump and support Ukraine at the same time. And we know that. So, but the thing about it is, the main point that I want to make here is that I think we're going to see a lot more of these villages come under attack, even if the Russians don't make any more advancement. Their scorched earth, oh my God, scorched earth policy. If we can't have it, we're not going to let the Ukrainians have it either. So they are just basically going to pound all these villages into dirt until they're nothing more. And I don't know. So let's move on from there. I want to speak about some interesting news that I got today from someone who we support in the International Legion. Yeah. And I can't tell you who it is, OPSEC and all of that, but someone that we have personally sent supplies to. Okay. And a personal friend of mine. And maybe he'll allow me to say who it is or post his picture, but I just want to speak about some good news. And the good news is that he just, I guess, I think he's a sergeant now, or equivalent, whatever the equivalent word is in the Ukrainian army. So he has served in the Ukrainian army for almost a year in the International Legion, and went on some vacation, kind of. And when he came back, he did some training, and he sent me like his certificate, and now he's a sergeant in the International Legion in the ZSU. And I think that's the first I've heard of a Ukrainian. I'm sorry, of a non-Ukrainian, like in the International Legion. I've heard of non-Ukrainians in specific units outside of the International Legion achieving some rank of even like lieutenant or whatever. But I've never heard, and maybe this has been going on for a long time, but I've never heard of an International Legion member being elevated up to the rank of officer or even non-commissioned officer. I've heard of non-commissioned officers in the Legion, like when they come, they receive that rank because of their prior experience, alleged prior experience, but not. And here, I should go like that because it's just me talking right now. But not, not somebody literally coming up through the ranks. Yeah, and every unit needs NCOs. Lauren, you make a very good point. And so this gives me a lot of hope for the International Legion. I know that I've been critical. Obviously I was in it, and that's made me critical of the Legion. But I also still hold out like so much hope for the Legion to improve, and I take this as a sign of improvement of the Legion in general. I mean, they certainly made themselves better by virtue of elevating my friend, you know, to that rank after he went through some training, and that seems appropriate to me, and so it's good. It's a good thing. I just want to introduce that idea because I have talked a lot of smack, and yeah, thank you, Viper. That is exactly the point I'm trying to make. Things have changed in the Legion, and continue to change for the better in the International Legion, and I'm bringing this up as a sign of that, the encouraging sign. And I don't have a special article to bring up about that because obviously there's not going to be, um, and I don't have authority to share with you pictures. Yeah, Bill, he did actually. He did. He's like, if I will ask him, and if he's okay with me showing pictures of him and stuff. I have shown pictures of him before, but in this context, I always want to be careful. So ask first. Yeah, Canti, you make a good point. We have to keep in mind that we, the USA, has had 200 plus years to organize our military structure. Ukraine has only been able to work on it since 91, and really, honestly, since 2014, because they just had their inherited Soviet structure. And so, and some would say that they worked on it pretty much half-assed from 2014 on, in half measures, and only really have they fully begun to reform since the full-scale invasion. Some would say that. Oh, Possum Nation. Okay, that's interesting. Lloyd Austin was smirking quite a bit when asked whether USA cared about striking into Russia. I take that as a good sign. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they're fine with Ukraine striking into Russia as long as it is not with United States weapons, and that is the part that has to change. So there we are. This is an opinion piece, but I think we all know this, and it needs to be said. It's delayed Western aid that allowed Russia to attack Kharkiv Oblast. We've heard things about, the Ukrainians didn't prepare the defenses properly and all of those things, and that's possible too. Corruption, blah, blah, blah. But ultimately, and we could also argue that the reason that this offensive has been stymied at the very least, is because they got those weapons that were promised. Yeah. You guys, if you guys notice, I have a little bit of a scratch in my throat. I have actually been sick. You guys remember Sunday? I was like, "Oh, I'm getting sick" with my man flu, and I actually have had it all week. It's just been kind of this like low grade thing. So even on Thursday, when I did the live stream, then I mean, I'll be okay for like a couple of hours, and then I'll just be shit. So I'm not like sick, but if you hear in my voice a little bit of a thing, frog in my throat, yes. Yeah, Luke, very good point. They wouldn't have had to prepare those defenses if they hadn't had aid held up. Yeah. You can't use what you don't have. Stones don't work against guns and artillery. Thank you, Viper. Yeah. So yeah, this is I mean, we know these things, but yeah. All right. Excuse me. Let me bring up the English version. So this is an interesting. So this article here that you're looking at. This is talking about, and I know I keep harping on the issue of conscription here in Ukraine, but this is an ongoing issue that Ukrainians are dealing with. And this is the big change that happened in the law. So men who were previously recognized as being previously recognized as being of limited fitness, they changed to the categories. And they're going to re-examine all these people. I don't know how they're going to do that, because I don't think that Ukraine has the capacity to intake or to re-examine all of these people. In fact, some of my students who went, this is crazy, right? So several of my students who I spoke to went to the local office, military office, where they're supposed to get they have to have their information checked and re-examined, so that if they do get conscripted, the government knows where they are. And then if they have some sort of health issues, now according to this law, they have to get, they have to repass the medical military board. That's the point. Okay. They literally waited overnight. Like some people wait for a new iPhone. They had to go. They had to go to the office, and they showed up at like 11 o'clock in the morning, and they literally camped. They had to like sleep overnight, and they took turns holding each other's places, I guess, a bunch of them, and they just made a little party and got drunk, in front of the military office. And it took literally a full day for them to and I don't think they actually they didn't do the medical part. All they did was just register their documents. So this shows you, first of all, that there are still a lot of people who can join the military and will willingly join the military. Not every male Ukrainian walking around is a draft dodger, but there are those, and I know some of them too. Excuse me. Man, scratchy throat. It's really. I don't know why today it wasn't this bad on Thursday. Okay, so we can move on from there. Yeah. So this is pretty interesting. The highest intensity of hostilities is in the Pokrovsky direction. So if I got this right, the Pokrovsk, if you want to know, and it's okay, particularly in the area of Sinkivka, there's some going, so in Kupiansk, but Pokrovsk, this is this area here, Pokrovsky. Just to give you a point of reference. Okay, JD Vance can go the hell away. Screw that guy. That's down here. Pokrovsky. This city. Okay. And this is obviously, it's a major military hub. And I'm sorry if you guys aren't interested in hearing the military stuff. Let me know, because I know that there's a lot of other guys out there covering this. Okay. Any number of them do a better job than me. So, but this area down here, this is an area where the arguably, and you you tell me what you think. I'm curious, but a lot of people are saying, "Hey, listen, this Kharkiv thing, it's only a misdirection. It's just trying to trying to distract, trying to just get the Ukraine to spread its resources more thin, because this down here, this is what they really want. If they could take Pokrovsk, that's like a major hub. Like, I don't know if I can on this map here. How do I change? Oh, here we go. Right. So if we go to default view, all right. So now you can see that yellow road right there? That's a major highway. All right. That should kind of put things into perspective for you. They want to take that highway because that will cut off, if they can at least bring Pokrovsk under Viper. You know what? Honestly, here's the, you're right. I didn't, and the reason I didn't is because I thought I was better. I thought I was like, oh, I'm fine. But then yesterday I was all screwed up again. So you're right. Fair enough. But so if they can bring Pokrovsk under some kind of threat, maybe not necessarily fire control, but be able to push this bulge close enough that they can start bombing this road, or sending like long range artillery against that road, then that puts the whole rest of this front, this whole area here, Chasiv Yar, even, but especially this, Donetsk sort of zone, Krasnohorivka, all the Novomikhailivka, all these areas under extreme threat, because they are to a large measure reliant on traffic coming through Pokrovsk. KK's GG. Wow, you really mentioned everybody. We don't have an everyone. It's not like Discord where you can just say hello to everybody at the once. So thanks for putting in the work. Just need some mead. Yeah, you're right. I just need some mead, Canti. Fair enough. Pokrovsky. I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I'm getting Pokrovsky and Pokrovsk mixed up. But regardless, two cities, big problems in both cases. They both have almost the same names. So that's that's a big problem here. And that kind of points to the idea that this whole thing up here is a little bit of a joke. I mean, it's ruining people's lives and destroying houses and homes, but it's not a serious effort. Okay. One of the hottest directions on the front remains Kramatorsk. I mean, it's all down there. Limansky, Kupiansk. So the front is still the front. I beat that horse dead enough. Yeah. Okay. So we know that this type of stuff is happening. Occupiers fired at a civilian car in Vovchansk. 2 people were killed. I don't know if you've seen the videos, but there are lots and lots of videos out there of awful stuff happening in Vovchansk. And I will just be honest with you, I'm looking at ways to solve the problem. I want to help in some way, and I'm not sure how yet. Yeah. This is very interesting. I like this quote. To tell the truth of war is not necessarily necessary to show tanks. It's a very good statement. But at the same time, I just want to point out, Ukraine.
Найголовнішим фактом.
Here we go. This is all in. This is all in Ukrainian, but You get the idea here. Ukraine is trying to do the same thing. Wow, that is low res. Ukraine is trying to do the same thing down here in Krinky. Okay. Now, to what degree, to what effect they're actually able to do that, I think is, I don't know. I just feel like it's really questionable. I mean, tell me what you guys think. I know that we are armchair generaling here, guys. Okay, I totally grok that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm armchair generaling. I have no business talking about this, but I'm talking about it. So here's tiny little Krinky right here. And then we also recently had this Ukrainian right here on this little island. Yeah. This Ukrainian attack where they're trying to take over these islands here. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Viper. But we are getting a lot of POWs in the Kharkiv area, and they are losing and capturing the Peters. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, that ultimately is what I was alluding to before about the stupidity of the Russian tactics here. That I was beating a dead horse, but ultimately they're just sending in like 5-man or 15-man teams walking in with no cover, no artillery backup or tanks, no mechanized anything, and single file, and it just. Thanks, KK's GG. Okay, I appreciate that. I'm not going to read that comment because it makes me feel self-conscious. Um, don't take that wrong. Krinky resulting in a lot of Russian fertilizer. Yeah. I mean, that's what's happening. It's just uh, grinding down. Ronnie, you're right. So Ronnie says resulting Krinky equals resulting in a lot of Russian fertilizer. Kharkiv is not comparable, but maybe it will be if Russia wants to keep throwing in groups of 30,000 guys against these prepared defenses, which they are now coming up against. Then it will be the next the next Bakhmut, the next Krinky. Okay, so you tell me, because I haven't been down to this area here. All right. I would like to talk to somebody. Mr. Dawson, is he here? Wait, is Mr. Dawson the same as Dr. Dawson? I'm just wondering. Maybe those of you who and if you're watching this, if you've made it this far into the live stream and you're watching and you happen to be in the Ukrainian army, in the ZSU or in the Legion, or if you're a resident of this part of Ukraine, Nikopol, for example, anywhere along the Dnipro in this area, and what used to be Lake Kakhovka. I want to know, what's this area like? I mean, to be honest, maybe I need to go down there and check it out myself if I weren't doing 1,000 other things. But I really want to know, like, this used to be a lake, and now it has to be just totally overgrown with all the plant and trees that are coming up in it. The name change makes him younger. Oh, Apatox, thank you for coming. Wow, Canti. The Ukrainian tradition of giving pumpkins to rejected suitors. I had heard of that. And calling Russians Peters. Peter is short for pederast, right? That's where that comes from. But it brings a new meaning to Peter, pumpkin eater. Wow. Yeah. trying to Mr. Dr. Dawson trying to beat. Oh, they don't like your first name. Oh my god, that's right. Oh my gosh. I know a number of Ukrainians whose name, literally their legal name, is Seaman. And so when they try to, sign up for anything online or whatever, I don't know, try to like uh type their name into, sign up for Minecraft or something like that, some game that would normally be played by children, certainly, and it gets blocked and they can't use their first name. Yeah, pretty funny. Okay, so I'm just asking this question. Okay, I want those of you who anybody, I want to know what the hell's going on here, right here. What does it look like here right now? Yeah, like I can't exactly do a Google Earth zoom in. I wonder though. I wonder if I can. Has Google Earth been updated? Probably not. Or I mean, it's Google Maps, but still. So if we just kind of, I want to zoom in here and we'll go to satellite, and I don't know, I'm sure they're not updating this yet. There's no updates to the satellite pictures of these areas, but I want to know, like, now that this area has been basically drained, is this an updated satellite? 2024 Google? Is that a little slash of an updated satellite thing? No. That's frozen ice. That's ice on the lake. That's what that is. So no, that's old. I'm just wondering, like, the point I'm trying to get at. Yeah, well, it's a good sign that I don't have this was the reservoir, Mary, yes, but it has been drained now, and it's just a river. Because remember, this dam was blown up. This dam was blown up last summer. Okay, this dam here. So now it's just the river, and so it should be no wider than the Dnipro is. It should be just the normal width of the river, which, if you look at, like, there's so many lakes, it's hard to find a place where you actually get a chance to see what the width of the river is. It's still quite wide, okay? But this is a lot easier to cross, okay? A lot easier to cross than Blonde, you're sitting quietly. I don't know why. So it must be a first. So no, but I understand that, like, down here, this is a difficult area to cross. Yeah, because it's a river delta. Okay, it's got flooding, all of that. But this area up here now, this is not a river delta. This area should be easily crossable, and we know that the the Econ line and the Russian fences are quite weak in this area. Yeah, soon after the dam was blown, there were pics of the river / lake bed, and you're right. Let's see, lake. I just want to see if there are I am not spelling right. Kahovka 2024, and let's just see. Oh, there we go. Spelled it better. All right, so this is most recent. Water returning to the reservoir. This is a very interesting article. Okay. KK's GG. Greg Terry would be about the only one who'd appreciate it if you actually went there, though. Perhaps. Correct, Viper, you're right. Still a river with sandbanks and a shitload of mud. Still too big to cross. Yes, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. But I just feel like, if we take a look at this image, zoom in on this low res image here. Are there areas that are crossable down here somewhere? Okay, obviously there's some water and some mud here, but gosh, that looks, you know, it just strikes me. It seems like there ought to be some weak points here. I don't know. Oh, we have a Ukrainian model living and working in LA joining us today. Awesome. Well, welcome, Ukrainian model. What do you model? I'm curious. Like, I'm a hand model, actually. I don't know if you knew that. I have model hands. Nobody wants to see any other part of my body, but it's kind of like having a face for radio, you know. Okay. So I'm just saying that, I wonder if somebody is thinking about that in a strategic way. And you're right. Oh, Canti, you sent me a pic in Discord. Okay. I will look at that later. If I try to bring it up now, my computer might crash or something, do something weird. And no, I won't. Burn that bridge. Oh, Slavi. All right. Well, greetings, Slavi. I'm glad you're here. It's wonderful to see you. I hope you're doing well there in Los Angeles. Although, Los Angeles. I'm sorry that has to be your experience of America. Leslie, how did I lose my membership? I think it lasts for a month. If someone buys you a membership, it only lasts for a month, and then you have to re-up it. But if you join the Discord, you will be in. It doesn't matter. So if you use that membership to join the Discord, you will be in there. Oh, she's on the NAFO fundraiser we're doing. That's super cool. Well, feel free to say hi there. Yeah. I don't have the option to renew it. Interesting. I think you actually have to go to my channel page, and I'm not sure. Some people have told me that when they go to it from their phone, it's not available. K-Bell, you're not green either. Interesting. K-Bell, you were like my first channel member. First or second, I think. So that's interesting. What YouTube undoes my member to my own channel about 4 times a year. Wow. Classic. Oh, Herb, yeah, you make a good point. Sound travels far on the water. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see about sending you a Discord link, Leslie. Actually, maybe I will have to bring up the Discord on my system and post a short link, which is what we did the other day. Discord. Okay. Well, I'll burn that bridge when I come to it, as we say. Go away, Discord. Okay. It can do its thing later. Yeah, so I will, before the end of the stream, guys, remind me, and I will post a short little, like, what's the thing? Oh, an invite, a server invite to the Discord. Yeah. Just be aware that we might, you might get slightly spammed. just be aware. You might get slightly spammed with well, this. And that's a good point. I should talk about this right now. Yeah. So I just want to let you guys all know I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I think we are close to 200. Oh, Bell, you said I just checked your channel and I'm set up for recurring payment. I use my phone, Android. Oh, that's cool. Thank you, Bell. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's right. It depends on how you join. So if you click the recurring, I think there's like a recurring membership option. Yeah. So I want to talk about this the drone raffle that we are doing. Okay. So first of all, what's the raffle for? All right, it's to buy a drone for the ZSU, and specifically for the 63rd Brigade and the International Legion 2nd Battalion drone unit. They work together, kind of like as a team. And you guys may remember I went and visited them and got this flag here and this flag here, signed by them. But this raffle is for this amazing painting done by our own Belle, who is in the chat right now, and this these awesome collectible Russian warship "Go fuck yourself" stamps, which are signed, I'm happy to say, by the International Legion, right here. So, yeah, pretty cool stuff. And also, this smaller flag right here, which is signed by the 63rd Brigade that we gave the big drone to. Yeah. So that's, and I need to change the picture because I need to show that the flag is signed by Foma. He's the FPV drone guy for the 63rd Brigade. So he's probably going to be the guy who ends up using this drone. And by the way, this picture here is the drone that they specifically requested to me. And so, before, I just want to make mention that before this raffle was for a drone that was like $1,000. And I decided, given with all the changes with my website and, the fundraising website, I wanted to, they were already asking me for a cheaper drone. Okay. For this particular drone, as opposed to the more expensive drone. So they were already asking for that. So I changed it. I talked about it before, as I said, and I believe we are almost to about 200. Yeah, yes, Blonde. I really did go and buy everything I could find and have it signed. That is absolutely true. And I set them to work signing those things. So I'd like to just invite you because some of you, I think, I don't know if Paul Gilbert got his prize yet. But I know that UTV and Ham, who was here earlier and left. Oh, that's awesome! I'm Belle. I'm so glad to hear that. Rick the Ukrainian is going to be auctioning off one of yours too. That's rocking. That's super cool. Yes. The last lines are all these major prizes, painting flags, going to be separate spins for the raffle, or just one grand prize winner? I had intended to have it be just one grand prize winner. That was my intention, KK's GG. So what you do is you, Canti, since you're asking the question, how do we buy tickets? So what you do is you go to buymeacoffee.com/whyukraine, and on our shop, which, so there's two ways you can do it. Okay, three. You can just go here and where it says "Buy Ukraine: The Last Alliance a Drone," and you can just type in here "drone raffle" and then send $5 support. $5 support. Yeah. So look, Paul Gilbert, he won the last time. Okay. He won the last time. Oh, and Belle, you Okay, you want me to re-roll if you win, Bell? Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so you can just see Paul Gilbert for the drones, raffle, a ticket for the raffle, please. Okay, you can do that. Or you can go here onto the site where it says extras. And this is where I have it's an online shop, just like my old website. And you can go there. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Or if you're someone who prefers to use PayPal, then you will see at the bottom of my screen my PayPal address. And you just type in drone raffle or raffle, and I will add it to. And we're not quite halfway, but we're there. Now, we're getting there. I want to point out that I have an open invitation to come visit the 63rd Brigade drone laboratory. They actually want me to come and visit and check out everything that they've got. And I was kind of hoping to do that this month. That was kind of my okay. Thank you, Blonde. I just got your message. Thanks. I'll have to think about it. Yes, I think I will. Okay. Anyway, the point is that what I would like to do, really, to be honest with you, is I would like to, if I go this month to go and visit the 63rd Brigade's drone laboratory, which is quite near to the front line, I would really like to take the drone with me. Okay, that's my goal. Is there a limit to the number of tickets that you can buy? Absolutely not. You can buy $500 worth of tickets, man. As soon as we hit $500, I will hold the raffle, basically. And I want to make the point that the cost of the drone it's the drone plus the batteries, plus like shipping and handling and money transfer fees. So shit adds up fast. Anyway, so I thought that was a good thing. Yeah. By the way, Real Dave Seaman, thank you for coming. Awesome to have you here. I feel like everybody's here. It's awesome. Super cool. Yeah. So, Dr. Dawson, yeah, I'll come on the show today. Why not? I will drink a cup of coffee and stay up. What the hell? Let's do it. I'm going to do it. My wife's going to hate me, but it's okay. This might be of interest to some of you. Canti, I like waffles. What? Okay. This might be of interest to some of you. I was shocked to see this today. This apparently just happened. Georgian president vetoes foreign agents bill. Like what? What the hell? I'm shocked. So, I mean, I don't know. Okay, Canti. Thank you. Oh, is there something on my hair right now? Okay, so this is shocking to me. I again, I don't understand Georgian politics completely. Obviously, I knew that there was Georgian opposition that was. Oh, Ronnie. Okay. So is that okay? So I need to read this article then more completely because I didn't understand that. Okay, so Ronnie says was expected will still go through. Sadly enough, president is ceremonial here. Aha. Aha. Okay, KK's GG. She said she would veto, but unfortunately, their parliament has enough Georgian Dream members to overturn her veto. And that's what I was concerned about, because I saw this headline. I didn't have a chance to read the article completely. Yeah, son of a. Okay. So Georgia Constitution. Okay. Legally sound and will be delivered to the Georgia Constitution allows the president to sign the law within 10 days or return it to the parliament. However, the Georgian Dream Party has enough votes in the parliament to override the veto, allowing it to be signed by the legislature's chairman instead. Man, that sucks, because I was like super hopeful. Oh, that sucks, Viper. I'm so sorry. I mean, but maybe ultimately it's a good thing. I mean, a good thing in the sense that Georgia is going to I mean, what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think that Georgia is going to face a civil war? Do you think that do you think that the Georgian Legion that's serving in Ukraine will go back to Georgia if they haven't already? And okay, I want to just go to a regular map. Do I have to go to traffic? Okay. No. Where's the default map? God damn it. Okay. I guess that's all I get. Because I wanted to look at these occupied territories. It's not very clearly delineating things here for me. I don't want. There we go. That's better. So this is part of the occupied territory here. It's occupied by Russia. And then this over here. South Ossetia and I forget the other one. But it's about 20% of Georgian territory that's Russian occupied. Oh, Canti, okay. It's a joke from Twitch days when people heard raffles, the way to join was to type raffle, and I would type waffle. Very funny. So yeah, so I just have to wonder if we're not gonna, see like a total revolution in Georgia. I mean, I'm just curious what you guys think. A Maidan or something. By the way, do you guys know? And I think some of you, if any of you have been to Georgia, you can probably verify this for me. But do you know why the coffee shops, the cafes in Tbilisi are so quiet? Do you guys know? They say the coffee shops and the cafes in Tbilisi are very quiet. It's because the tea is silent. Okay, I'll shut up. Okay. Moving on. Beautiful, beautiful city, but yeah. Okay. Viper says it's a good thing they can't go against Russia. They have an army of 35,000 and a population of 3.7 million. Yeah, it's basically like a it's basically like a small city, or it'd be like the city of Kyiv by itself trying to stand up against Russia. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But here's the thing. Here's the question, though, right? Is Russia so deeply occupied? I mean, obviously, okay. So Armenia is kicking Russia out. Yeah. So, and obviously, there's a whole country between Armenia. There's Georgia between Armenia and Russia. So there's a good reason for this. But don't you think that Georgia might be next? Hey, if Armenia can kick Russia out, Why can't we? You know, and I don't mean Russians. I think most of the Russians, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think a majority of the Russians in Georgia, I would maybe, I mean, I don't think that they would do very much. So, okay, what I'm saying here is that I think that I predict that Georgia's gonna. I think the Georgian Legion's going to come back to Georgia, and I think that there's going to be a revolution that will break down into warfare, essentially. You know. Okay, Ani. Oh, did somebody got my joke about Tbilisi? The T is silent in Tbilisi. Okay, that was the joke. God, you guys, you didn't even laugh. Oh, okay, some of you did. Okay, all right. Goofy, groan, laugh my ass off. Ugh. Okay, yeah, I did do that, Ronnie. Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad. I was worried, you guys. There's a delay on the chat. That's what it is. That's why. So, yeah. Okay. So we'll move ahead. I'll end the discussion of bad Georgian jokes to spare you all the deep offense. Yeah. Okay. So I would say that this thing about electricity, in other words, talking about Ukraine's electricity, you guys know that I've been dealing with power outages. And to be honest with you, my calculation about whether or not I was going to join the Shills tonight is, can I? Am I going to have power? Because the electricity has been off. Yesterday it was off for like 5, 6, 7 hours, maybe. All right, blonde bombsheller, $10 to go get my. That's funny. Okay, fair enough. Viper. Okay, you know what? Viper says, guys, you need to understand that area and how the countries work. It's not the West. That's fair enough, and I do completely. When I'm saying this, maybe could be, you know, sure, Conti's talking about Transnistria and Moldova. You know, you're right. I'm thinking in a simplistic way. Yes. Yeah, you're right. Okay. So I just want to talk about the electricity situation here. I just remembered that we got word that the electricity is going to be on all weekend, they said. So we're going to have power all weekend. And then next week during the day, it's going to shut off again. Mitch, thank you for coming, by the way. So basically what's happening is, speaking about the electricity situation here in Ukraine, okay, it's kind of like Ukraine is hitting the oil facilities in Russia. Russia's hitting the electrical facilities in hey baby, my wife just came home. You know, Russia's hitting the electrical facilities here in Ukraine. Ukraine's furiously rebuilding them as fast as it can, you know. But so we're facing here in my general area, we're facing power outages basically because, as you can imagine, during the weekdays, there's more businesses operating, and specifically like large power intensive manufacturing in the general area. Yeah, sharing the load demand so everyone gets some electricity instead of a few being out. Yeah, and I think that the reason that we're supposed to have electricity all weekend is because the large, you know, a lot of the big companies are probably not open on the weekends. Yeah. Viper, that's very interesting that you say this. They are 25 years behind Ukrainian influence. One day it will change. So, in other words, the Western influence that Ukraine has had, Georgia's much further behind. Okay, that's fair enough. Canti, that's very interesting. I'm adding microgeneration to my renovations to dachas. I'd be very interested to talk to you about that, because if we do end up doing this, my plan of this Homes for Heroes thing that I've been talking about, that's the sort of thing that I'd like to incorporate. As an energy independence feature, I guess. And it doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, a Ukrainian could do with like two solar panels and a car battery would be enough for most Ukrainian households, to maybe not go off grid, but have energy independence in the case of power outages and things, Yeah, sure, Lauren. We get that during summer, rolling blackouts or brownouts. I teach my Ukrainian students all the time about what it's like living in California in the summertime, or any time of year, or Texas right now recently, Yeah, solar, Catherine, solar was what I'm looking at putting solar on this house, my wife's parents' house here. Yeah, when, not if. Excellent. Great. Oh, thank you. Blonde. Go and mention the raffle. Okay. Yeah. Now that I've got the raffle set up, does solar work well in Ukraine? There are, if you take the train or drive around Ukraine, you will see massive solar farms here in Ukraine. One of my students used to be is the CEO of a solar company. I lost contact with him though. I don't. But yeah, there are houses all over, even in my small village. Not a lot of them, but a few, basically where rich people live, where the rooftops are covered with solar, and yeah, and if you have some battery backup, then yeah. I was thinking, Lauren, about a small wind turbine. Different versions of that. Oh, we have Alabama Cajun. Howdy, y'all. Sorry. To be honest, I have ancestry in Alabama. If you want to know, does that give me the right to make fun of Alabama? I'm not sure. The Cherokee side of my family. Yes, I used to be 1/16 Cherokee, guys. Yeah, I got a nosebleed. So, yeah. By the way, that joke kills in front of Native Americans. They freaking love that joke. Anyway, sorry. The scratchy throat cold situation is getting to me. Yeah, so that's the point I'm trying to make, is that what I'm trying to make the point about here is that Ukraine can rebuild its electrical facilities and possibly build them better. Yeah, Viper, I thank you. It's a plan because it needs to be integrated into the overall plan. But Ukraine can rebuild its electrical facilities faster and better than Russia can rebuild its oil facilities. Those oil facilities, in Russia, the refineries were largely built with foreign, and particularly American, engineering and know-how and funding, and the oil fields themselves as well. And now that all of those have pulled out of Russia, they took that expertise, they took that capital, they took even, the tools, the technology with them. And so it's very likely that Russia may never regain that capacity, even for the United States. Even for the United States, it's difficult and expensive. It takes years and years and years to rebuild oil refineries. America, makes enough oil, more than enough oil, to support itself, but it doesn't have the refining capacity. So a lot of that oil gets shipped out overseas to refineries overseas and then brought back to America, and we buy our own oil back. It's ridiculous, So, yeah, even in commercial applications, solar is rebuilt faster than oil-based power gen. Yeah, and audio desynced for anyone else or just me? Oh, really? Did you guys lose audio? Is it like desynced completely, or? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, wow. I wonder what happened there. Here, let me. I don't know if there's a way for me to even check that. Sync knock. Okay. Yeah, I didn't touch anything with my microphone. I didn't get that. Has to be either my streaming software or like how badly desynced is it? Is it coming back yet? Yeah, I don't know. Let me know if it continues. It did refresh and it's better now. Okay, great. Thank you, Herb. Thank you, Herb. Thanks for letting me know, guys. So this is the point that I make when people say, or when I read these articles, people say, "Oh, Russia's going to win because they're bigger and they have more capacity and they have this and that." I'm like, you're not thinking about the resilience of you don't understand the resilience of Ukraine. A very interesting point that one of my students made this past week. We were talking about infrastructure. Okay, infrastructure. Let's say in the U.S. involving electrical systems. Okay, and a lot of the electrical systems in the United States are like 75 years old. Like PG and E. We can look at PG&E facing. This is California Pacific Gas and Electric Company did face criminal charges for their old electrical equipment causing the state's largest wildfire. And this happened over several years, okay, in California. So arguably, Ukraine has the opposite problem. Yeah? In other words, if we take a look at a map of Ukraine, not Tbilisi. Okay, we take a look at the map of Ukraine here. You guys may recall that in Enerhodar, the Zaporizhia power plant, it's the largest nuclear plant in Europe. Yeah. But then there's another one, the second largest nuclear plant in Ukraine, at the very least, is up here in this area. I can't remember. It's right around here, Vozhnesensk, up in this general region. And in fact, in 2022, the Russians almost got this far. They were trying really hard because they wanted to take the power plants. They wanted to take those major power plants. But understand that Ukraine has this legacy of the Soviet Union that's in some ways kind of a good thing, because in the Soviet Union, before the collapse, there was a huge, massive investment in infrastructure. So you've got, look at all these lakes along the river. I mean, environmental devastation aside, okay, you've got all of this. Now, I understand that a lot of these have been disabled now. Like I think a third of the hydroelectric power plants have now been disabled by missiles. But the fact is, they had them. They had them. And moreover, they have a lot of, let's say, derelict capacity that was there was a huge amount of manufacturing that was happening in Ukraine under the Soviet Union. In the 1990s, it all fell apart or went to hell, but that doesn't mean that it disappeared. It might have been mothballed, and in some cases, maybe the buildings fell down and what have you. But a lot of that infrastructure, those wires and things going all over the place, are still there. And yeah, they might be 75 years old, but it gives Ukraine not just resiliency, but it's like almost like a failover system, as we would use in as we would use in speaking in terms of like network engineering, and network management. You want to have like extra systems that are just offline, just waiting around when there is a disaster, and you can just bring those things back up. And so it gives you this little bit of resiliency. And I think that is a lot of what we're seeing in Ukraine when we're talking about this tit for tat that Ukraine and Russia are having with, in terms of attacking each other's infrastructure. Okay, and let's see. I want to go back and read some of your comments here. Start from the bottom. Yes, redundancy. Thank you, Alabama Cajun. It's amazing how MAGA gets things mixed up. Oh, okay. Oh God! All right, you and your Jewish space lasers, guys. Okay. Let's see. Spoke about that. If there's a peace treaty signed, it would null and void all the brothers and sisters we have lost and sacrifices on that paper. Yeah. No, that's not going to happen. No way. 0% chance. I mean, I understand there are some Ukrainians who are wavering because they're getting tired of the war, but that's going to be a whole long time before that happens. Jewish space lasers. Oh, hey, Reb Tyree, how you doing, man? Petaluma, California. I love Petaluma. I used to spend many summers of my childhood down there at Lawson's Landing, Reb. So now you know the truth about me. Hunting gooey ducks. Yeah. God. It's probably why I never turned gay. I was traumatized as a child. Okay. You guys. All right. So, all right. This is just a big thing that I just want to just point out and emphasize. Ukraine has a much higher density of population than Russia does. Russia has greater infrastructure, and why do I have traffic monitoring on? I do not need that. Russia has much greater infrastructure, but it's spread out over like how much more space, like 15 times. Oh no, more than that. I can't tell because this map is distorted, right? But let's say 20 times. You could fit 20 Ukraines in Russia. Let's just say. Oh, do you guys want me to show you pictures of gooey ducks again? Is that what you said? I didn't hear that part. I wasn't sure. Yeah, so Russia has, let's say Russia has like 6 times the infrastructure, but it's spread out over 20 times the geography. Okay, and Ukraine's infrastructure per square mile or square kilometer is just greater, ironically. then outside of, let's say the general like Moscow area, you're not going to find anything like that in Russia outside of this area right here. So it yes, it is a David and Goliath fight, but Ukraine is very effectively taking advantage of the fact that Russia has to cover this whole zone, and now that they can get out to 1,500 kilometers, they really there's no way they can put up air defense to cover all of that. And all Ukraine has to do, especially if we can, if NATO can pull its head out of its bunghole. And Lauren, I do not eat gooey ducks. Shush. Yeah. It's part of my childhood I don't want to talk about. But my family did. They did. I just hunted them, and then let other people dig them up, pretty much. Anyway, so just think about it, right? If NATO can cover even part of Ukraine, with like a no-fly zone or with some patriots that can cover like Lviv and Ternopil, out to Rivne, something like that, or Lutsk. I mean, that's huge. That would mean that a lot of these missile defense systems could be moved to the east. Yeah, Michael, exactly. 80% of Russians live in the European part of Russia. They are in range of Ukrainian drones. Yeah. Salt to the Red Earth. Didn't see you here before. Thanks for coming. I can't stay awake today. I felt the same way all week. All week I had the man flu and was just down for the count. Like hours and hours in bed, So okay. So let's move on from our little discussion there, because there are a couple of things I do want to talk about. Okay, so we've talked about this, and we've discussed that, and we talked about Zelensky's thing. We talked about that. This is what I wanted to get to. Okay. So 10 things about Crimean Tatar deportation, and I hate that they use this word deportation. This was Stalin's euphemism, I would call it genocide, and in fact, it was genocide. So we can just never forget that the reason that there was, even at the time of the annexation of Crimea, the reason that there was a majority of Russia, even just Russian-speaking people in Crimea, is because starting in May 18th, 1944, the Interior Ministry of the Soviet Union, or NKVD, that's what they call the Chekists, or the what became the KGB and what's now the FSB, on orders from Moscow, started mass deportation of Crimean Tatars from the peninsula. Many of them were sent to Uzbekistan and other parts of the Soviet Union. So, who are the Crimean Tatars, and how did they end up in Crimea? Crimean Tatars lived in Crimea for over 1,000 years. So, Tatars were a tribal people who came from Siberia originally, and as it says here, they were a Turkic ethnic group. So they were part of basically the Mongol Confederation, and later the other Turkic tribes who settled along with the Mongols. Okay, and the what later became the Golden Horde, and then the Crimean Khanate, were the But here's a very interesting thing that I want to point out, and I don't know if this article is going to. Oh yeah, they do talk about it. Good, good, good. So the Crimean Tatars, as a people, formed in Crimea and are the descendants of various peoples who lived in the peninsula in different times of history, such as the Tauri. Is very interesting. And I mentioned the Tauri. The Tauri were the original. I'm talking like Mesolithic people to live in, genetically speaking. The Tauri were the literal indigenous people of Crimea. And then you had the Scythians, Sarmatians, Alans, Greeks, Goths. Hello, Goths. Bulgars, Khazars, Pechenegs, Italians, and Circassians. And this is very interesting because prior to this 1944 deportation, these what became known as the Crimean Tatars were really an ethnic mix of thousands of years of all kinds of different cultures coming to Crimea. It seems like basically anytime anyone had an empire in Ukraine that got basically defeated in the major part of Ukraine, they would always leave a remnant in Crimea. And so you could look at an ethnic map of Crimea over time, and Jews too, actually. Thank you, Cheryl. You can look at an ethnic map of Crimea over time, and you'll see that there are like Greek zones and Italian zones and Goth zones, and then but over time, over the last 1,000 years, those groups kind of became ethnically mixed and collectively became part of the Crimean Tatar people. And so I will just tell you that. So my first best friend in Ukraine was a Crimean Tatar, which is really interesting. He's Muslim, and maybe not the most devout Muslim. I would say that the Crimean Tatars version of Islam, in my personal experience, very similar to like or maybe Episcopalians. They're not foot washing Baptists, okay? They're not extremists, is what I'm trying to say. And in fact, culturally, and just in terms of like overall personality, and they would describe themselves as being a lot more like, if you hung out with a bunch of Crimean Tatars, you would be more likely to say, yeah, in a Venetian colony. Thank you. I was just about to say, Cheryl, you would probably feel more like you were hanging out with a bunch of Italians rather than what you probably traditionally think of as Muslims. In other words, whereas Ukrainians, I would say, can be, I don't know, maybe a little bit more reserved until you get some vodka in them, or borscht, as the case may be. They're not going to tell you about their whole life story, maybe so much. They're not quite as open. They're, as I like to say, Europeans are coconuts and Americans are peaches. But I feel like Southern Europeans are more emotional, more touchy-feely, more, and that's kind of how culturally I feel like Crimean Tatars have that cultural inheritance that arguably comes from maybe from Italy, maybe from them, as you say, being a Venetian colony, Cheryl. So it's just an important thing. So this it's an interesting article here that goes into the whole history. So Crimea was occupied first in 1783, and then of course you have the Crimean War, which took place in 1856. So this is just very interesting here. You can see this legacy of how under the Russian Empire, and then most especially under the communists. Okay, there was this huge push. You can see there's World War II. So the Russian population massively increased, and the Crimean, like all of the Crimean Tatars, were forced. And here's the problem. Okay, why is this called a genocide? If they were just sent to move across to Uzbekistan, well, big whoop-de-doo. That sucks. Who wants to live in Uzbekistan except for the Uzbeks, right? It doesn't look like the most appealing place, and especially not after what the Soviets did to the Aral Sea. But I digress. That's not the point. The point is that when Stalin deported them, he deported them not just on May 18th, 1944. The Crimean Tatar deportation continued all through the winter. And if you can look on the graph here, Crimean Tatars were put on those cattle cars, exactly as you see, and packed into these cattle cars in the middle of winter. It didn't matter what time of year it was, with no food, no water, on the train all the way to Uzbekistan. Just only what they happened to have in their hands when they were rounded up and forced onto these cattle cars. And thousands, hundreds of thousands of them died. Women and children especially. Okay, that was the genocide, the real genocide. And many of these, sorry, I'm scrolling too much. Many of these cattle cars showed up in Uzbekistan just with nothing but dead people. Okay, because they were just starved to death. Very Holocausty. Yeah, well, yes. Yeah, that is the thing that people don't know about when we talk about Crimea and the Crimean Tatars and the history of Crimea. And so then you can see here this graph starting with the fall of the Soviet Union. Now all of a sudden, the Tatars were sneaking back to Crimea, but then with the fall of the Soviet Union, then they really started coming back. They really started coming back, but they never were able to achieve the, starting 200 years ago when they were the majority of the population. They never got that back because of this. Because so many of them were killed, and again, it started in the Russian Empire, but then, yeah, okay. So I just want to make you guys aware of this history, that exists, and I'll post a link to this and maybe on my channel, so you guys can read this article on your own, so that you understand the history that exists there, And now, and okay, I beat a dead horse enough. I just wanted to make you guys aware of the Tatar genocide and what happened there. Wow. So I apologize for ending on a bad note, guys. That's maybe I should have done that in the beginning. Here, let's find a nice article to talk about before we go. Yeah, I should have planned this better. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. There's FICO. I guess I could talk about FICO. That's not really good news. I don't know. Look, the news is not all bad today, is what I'm going to say. All right. I will just say that my the message that I had earlier in the stream about officers, training of officers within the International Legion, and recruits going up in rank and being given leadership position. Cheryl, thank you very much for coming. And you're right, guys. I have actually lingered longer than was wise. Yeah, but I want to talk about this, but I think I'm gonna wait. Because I want to know more about what's going on. So, with that in mind, I am actually going to end today. Thank you all for coming, and I am going to be doing a stream tomorrow. Thank you, Leslie. Discord link. Yes, I will link. Derp, 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 derp. I'm going to send you a link to the Discord server. This is your reward for enduring our I want to edit that. 1 hour. Yeah, there we go. So this will be, yes, there we go. And there we go. So your reward for sitting through this live stream today is a link to the Discord server. Welcome all new hobbits. Real Dave Seaman. I actually changed it to 1 hour, so you have 1 hour from the end of this, from just now, to join the Discord server, and thank you all for coming. Please, if you can, donate to the drone raffle. If you can't, then at least like, subscribe, and most importantly, share this live stream. Or if you don't want to share this live stream, then go and find one of my videos that you do want to share and share it with somebody. Okay? Because let's spread the word. KK's GG. It was at $135 last Thursday. I didn't have a chance to check it today, but I think it's close to 200 right now. I could be wrong on that. I think we're at about 200 KK's GG. But I haven't checked the because people send me on PayPal, and if you want to send me on PayPal, you can do that as well. My PayPal is here. That's my PayPal, and just put drone in the description. So you can go here, or you can go here and just say drone raffle, and you will be entered into the drone raffle. Yeah. So thanks, everybody. Every day until victory. That's right. Slava Ukraine. Heroam Slava. Do побачення, everybody. So, and I'll see you guys later on the Shills if you guys are staying up. I guess I'm staying up.